Yo, what's up guys? Imagine Create Destroy here, and in this week's video I'm going to be recreating the iconic casting couch office. Now, I really want to drill this in, pun intended, that if you don't know what the casting couch is, please don't go and Google it. Now, while I get started on the build, we can talk about where the idea for this ridiculous build came from. My brother had come over to hang out and we were just talking about different builds I had made recently, when he brought up the casting couch diorama that someone had made for the Kentucky State Fair, that, if I'm not mistaken, placed second place. When he pulled up the picture, we were just dying laughing. It was such a hilarious idea for a diorama. I knew I just had to make one for myself. I felt like it fit the vibe of my more adult themed channel. Now, I don't have any experience making room scenes, so I knew I'd need to buy a lot of stuff for this build, which ended up being a lot more expensive than I thought. Actually, my most expensive build yet. Which reminds me, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the video get pushed by the algorithm more. Hey, and maybe one day it'll help pay for my builds. Anyway, now that I'm done begging, I'll install the door frame and crown molding. I trimmed out a hole for the door, then measured for the crown molding, just super gluing it into place. I wanted to stain the door because it looked pretty raw. I ended up using an Agrax Earthshade wash as a stain, and it worked really well. I was a bit nervous because I didn't want to mess up the only door I had, but I was really happy with the end result. After installing the door, I'll install the door knob. I painted the back with a black paint to put a mark on the door to help guide me when drilling the hole. After, I busted out my pin vise, drilled the hole, and super glued on the doorknob. I also bought this 2-scale carpet that I'll cut to size real quick, then we can glue it into place. I thought it'd be a good idea to hot glue it in, but it looked like crap and didn't bond very well, so I ripped it out, peeled away all the hot glue, then put a generous amount of white liquid, which I guess it wouldn't be the casting couch without it, right? Then slapped the carpet back into place. Now that the main space is complete, I'll move on to the furniture. I'll start with the office chair. I couldn't find a black chair, so I'm just going to paint this one black. Next, I'll start making the computer desk out of foam board. I used the chair as a guide to make sure the desk was tall enough. I cut out the legs and the top of the desk, making sure it was nice and sturdy, since this is where most of the action happens. Well, besides the couch. Then, hot glued the 3 pieces together. Next, I'll make the drawers. I started by gluing on a small piece of foam board to the front of the desk, then glued on slightly smaller pieces to the front as well. I also trimmed the sides at an angle just so they don't look so square. To paint the desk, I'll start with a very thick layer of Mod Podge mixed with black paint, just to help hide the rough texture of this foam board. Then decided on using this Burnt Umber by AK Interactive. But when it dried, I hated the color, so I did another coat with Rhinox Hide by Citadel, which looked way better in my opinion. And lastly, I'll just super glue on the drawer handles and we'll call the desk good. Next, I'll start on the computer and the camera, which I was a little nervous to make because I really wanted them to look good. I'll start by stacking some balsa wood sheets just to give some thickness, then fit some balsa wood strips to make the border of the screen. After, I cut a circular stick, glued it on, and mounted it to the monitor and the base. I painted it black, then we'll start on the camera. To build this, I used a similar process, stacking balsa wood together to build up that sweet thickness. Then glued on another circular stick to act as the lens of the camera. Lastly, painted it black as well, off camera. And that's that for the camera and computer screen. This next step is probably my favorite and the funniest detail, the sweat marks. This is pretty simple. I just used a gloss Mod Podge and it looked great. And now that all the furniture is done, we can just super glue it into place. I used my camera to take a picture like it was from the point of view of the camera on the desk, printed them out so we can trim them up and glue them onto the camera and computer screen. To do this, I used a gloss Mod Podge because I want to give it that shiny computer screen look. I'll do the same thing with the camera. After that dried, I was just trying to figure out what to use as a wire to connect the camera to the computer. And after a bit, I finally realized the wire from this micro LED was perfect. I painted it black and then just super glued it on. Next, I glued on the camera and monitor to the desk, then moved on to the last step, which is to use this red Posco marker to paint on the red recording marker. Cause there'd be nothing worse than doing a casting couch scene and forgetting to hit record, right? And that's a perfect example that nothing happens the way you want. I pushed too hard on the paint pen and it drifted everywhere. So I wiped it off, painted it black again, printed a new picture out, re-glued it on, and added the recording symbol, being a bit more careful this time. Thank you to everybody that watches the videos. It really means the world to me. I can't wait to see y'all next week. Now let's roll the beauties. Peace.
When you hear the rhythm, start to move.